What is up, Buffalo Fanatics?
What is going on?
Rev.
What's up, baby?
What's happening, boys and girls?
Let's go!
Game day. We're just over an hour away from Bills Patriots. And we currently, Rev, are awaiting, anticipating a potential playoff berth for these Buffalo Bills. We got a lot to get into today as we send 2023 off into the distance. We welcome in 2024 with open arms, and we hope to enter the new year as playoff caliber, baby. Rev, talk to me. How you doing on this final day?
Man, look,
23.
it is a wonderful day in Bills Mafia land. I tell you right now, I am feeling fantastic. Wouldn't be a better story written if it were not on New Year's Eve, closing out one chapter and going into another chapter where the Bills are about to clinch their ticket into the postseason. In spite of everything that the Buffalo Bills had gone through this season, to be right here at the doorstep, ready to get in there. And I could not feel any better. I'm excited about it, man. I feel great about it. How do you feel about it, Z-Bot?
I was just going to say, I'm extremely excited, so much so that I have yet to give much thought at all to the fact that they might not actually clinch today. Have you even considered that? Because I've almost put it into my own reality at this point. I've made it like a certainty in my mind, and it's not good.
Well, I thought about it, but I didn't let it marinate. Okay.
Yes.
I think you have a tendency to let it marinate
a lot.
I'll think about it. I'm like, and I'll brush it off. So I did go through it, and I went through the playoff simulator, and it's like I talked about it last night on my show. Today is a lot of Bills Mafia want to talk about the Week 18 matchup with the Dolphins. This game is more important than Week 18.
Agreed.
This game is more when you look at the percentages and the likelihood of Buffalo getting in the playoffs right now. I think I did it last night before any game start. They have a plus 90% chance to get in. If they win, it's might as well be 100% chance, right? But if they lose, it drops all the way down to, like, I want to say almost less than 50% chance. So this game is massive for the Buffalo Bills. But Z-Bot, it's New Year's Eve, baby. We're not getting down over here, baby. It's Buffalo, man, is about to crush. That's all I gotta say. We're about to crush it today. They understand. The boys understand what's at stake. They escaped with the dub last week in LA, cross-country trip just before Christmas. It doesn't matter. We won. We're back at home, Highmark Stadium, in front of 60+ thousand crazy Bills Mafia fans. You know good and well that these boys are about to handle business, and we're going to be able to sit back and enjoy the rest of the games today.
I can't end my year and start my year with anything other than an absolute ass kicking today. I cannot 100%. I cannot send 2023 into the books. I cannot enter 2024 into my life with anything but the fattest of dubs. I look at today, and I look at it beyond even winning just because of the situation at hand, of course, which is obviously you got to win it. Like you said, with the playoff circumstance. This is a game you almost overlook, and I have been doing that. It's been so, Miami, AFC East, AFC East. Victim of that big time last week. And I knew it didn't really hit me until about game time when I came to terms with the fact that I have not given this game any proper attention, and I knew it was going to end up costing me, and it did. And I mean, I was pacing that entire game, sweating down to the final minute. So for me today, I'm all dialed in, but it's not just because of what you said, where this game's massively important for all the reasons we already know. But for me, it's honestly just to avenge the bullshit of week 7.
100%. That's exactly what it's about, man.
Yes, I always say it because I have to, because I still can't fathom that I drove like 3 hours and spent money that I earned on that shit, Rev. I need my demons exercised today.
And I remember you coming on live at the stadium and you were talking about it, and you talking about just the whole aura of the fans at at New England, how it was just eerily quiet. It was like quiet, like nobody was there. It was empty. It was weird. And they didn't.
It was weird, and I had never been. I had been to Gillette, but not for a game. I had been to they have the Patriot Place. It's awesome, and the whole place is great. But I had never been to Gillette during the dynasty, so I don't know what that environment was like. The environment I walked into was the day that the story broke that Belichick got an extension that came out of nowhere. It was very odd. And obviously at this point, I think the Patriots had one win going into that game. And it was just, like you said, eerie was the way to put it. Like, you walked in, it almost just seemed like everybody was there for the hell of it. No one was there anticipating a win. Yeah. And then you had to go from that to everybody getting all amped up out of nowhere. And you're standing there like a moron, thinking you were going to walk in there having the good time. And just to me, though, out of everything, it wasn't even just that. The fans were honestly fine. I was cool with everybody around me. It was the fact that they allowed Mac Jones to maybe have the best game of his career. And who knows if he ever even starts in this league again. The last you'll look back at Mac Jones in a decent fashion was that game. Because not only did he play well all game, but he did it when it mattered most. 2 minutes left, he went all the way down the field. And they could have settled for a field goal, took that game to overtime. They went and scored with time to spare. It was embarrassing.
Yeah. It was massively embarrassing. And you're right. I mean, it was one of Mac Jones' best games of his career. No doubt of the season. When you look at it, Mac Jones, the Bills allowed Mac Jones, and I'm just gonna go back here a little bit. 25 for 30. Mac Jones went 25 for 30 in that game for 272 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He had a passer rating of 126.7. It was the highest that he's gotten this season, the highest. But then since that game, since that game,
that's what made it 10 times worse. He never came close to it again.
It never, because since that game, he hadn't had a passer rating over 88. He has 5 interceptions to 3 touchdowns. He led the Patriots to 4 straight losses, and he was benched after a 10-7 loss against the Giants, where he went 12 for 21, 89 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a passer rating of 27.8. The Bills made him look like a above average quarterback, and that offense with no weapons looked like a very above average offense. It was embarrassing all around for the Buffalo Bills. That's why I agree with you, but like, this game is revenge for the Buffalo Bills. It is 100% revenge, all gas, no brakes, keep their foot on the throats kind of game for the Bills. And we need to see that from them.
Yeah. And I also look at it too, this very well could be the last time these Buffalo Bills score off against Bill Belichick. I'm having a tough time wrapping my mind around the fact that the regular season is over next week. It really hasn't hit me. That's pretty nuts. Isn't that nuts? But it's the little things now that are starting to hit me with that reality coming to fruition. And this is one that's really messing with me. My entire life. I mean, it was weird enough when Brady left. It still feels weird without Brady sometimes. But my entire life has been Bill Belichick, my whole life. I mean, imagine doing something for so long in the same place, the same way. And up until recently, it was pure dominance under that man.
Right.
And now to have the dynasty completely end with his departure all but inevitable at the end of the year here, it's an insane reality to kind of think of when you think that as the Bills enter into 2024, obviously facing off New England against New England twice a year, there won't be a Bill Belichick post-game interview, pre-game, on to Buffalo.
Right.
There won't be looking across the way and seeing him with the hoodie on. That's going to be gone. This could be the last time we see that. There's a lot of things at play here to me that go beyond the bigger elements today. And that's why I think I'm so jazzed up for a game that the Bills are 14-point favorites in. This could be the last time these Bills have the chance to leave Belichick with a sour taste in his mouth for a team that he owned for well over 2 decades.
And really, to play devil's advocate, I mean, it could also be a game in which the Patriots come out understanding the reality of the situation with Bill Belichick and what he's done for that franchise, and come out on fire and say, "Hey, we're gonna come out and play our best game of the year for you," and play spoilers to the Buffalo Bills, who think that they have their eyes set on playoff berth.
By the way, recently, Rev. I mean, they've been doing that.
They've been playing well, man. They really have. And so this is going to be we can expect a hard fought game. I think we're good. We're going to see all the punches, everything that you can think of from Bill Belichick, I think is going to come out in this game. And that I wouldn't want to say, I don't necessarily want to say concerning, but it is something that we need to think about. When you think about one of the greatest coaches of all time playing in probably like one of the most important games at home, like his final home game, pulling out all the stops. Like what would that look like? What is that going to look like? Going against his divisional rival in the Buffalo Bills, having the opportunity to end their playoff hopes. We can expect to see a lot out of Bill Belichick in this team today, and the Buffalo Bills better be prepared for it.
In the last couple of weeks, they more or less ended the Pittsburgh Steelers here. They essentially ended maybe the career of Russell Wilson. I'm not entirely sure what's going on in Denver, but you're right. This could be another feather in the cap of the farewell tour here. There's nothing scarier than a guy of his type of talent with nothing to lose, and that's exactly what we're witnessing here. And look, Bailey Zappi has this team moving the ball better than they had in weeks prior with Mac Jones. And that's coupled with a defense that is always going to show up. I even go back to last week. I know it's the most recent example, but it's a microcosm of what this team is and how they win games. Maybe they shouldn't. Last week, honestly, this scenario right here is pretty much a microcosm of this season for the Patriots to a degree. The first play of the game for the Patriots, Bailey Zappi fumbles the ball. We're not even at the 14:50 mark of this game yet. And Bailey Zappi fumbles the ball, and Denver gets the ball on like the 7-yard line. They come away with 0 points. And you fast forward, that game wound up being a 3-point game with a field goal at the buzzer. That was the ball game. You don't think about it afterwards because it was the first sequence of the game. But the reality was that was the game. So this team, their offense has put them in spots all year long, but their defense, despite the fact that this team has essentially been playing, for a whole lot of nothing since about late October, they give you their best crack every week, no matter what's on the line.
Right. They give you everything, man. And the only thing that I wouldn't necessarily say the only thing, but I guess what's in the Bills' favor today is when you look at the inactive list and you look at the injury report for the Patriots, because they are without a lot of players on the Patriots. Right now, Jabril Peppers and Hunter Henry are inactive for the game. On top of Ramondre Stevenson being out because he's been placed on IR, no Juju Smith with an ankle injury. The wide receiver Kayshon Boutte is out with an illness, and then you have a laundry list of questionables who I'm sure they're probably going to play or not. Christian Barmore, Kyle Duggar, Anthony Jennings, their corner, Jonathan Jones, Matthew Slater was questionable too. So, the Bills look like there it is right there. So I'm looking at the inactives. You look, just go down that list and look at it. Jabril Peppers, safety. Nathan Rourke, Jermichael Hasty, Kayshon Boutte, their wide receiver, Trenton Brown, Hunter Henry. Like these are some players, man, that the Bills played in Week 7, and so the Patriots are essentially playing for pride with really no legit weapons. You know what I'm saying? And so that could be go on the Buffalo Bills' favor. But at the end of the day, man, they still have to strap up. You never know how this game could go. You just really never know.
It sounds awfully familiar, Rev. So familiar. In fact, I think that happened last week. Backup quarterback with no weapons, nothing to lose. Franchise in turmoil. Right. Bills 14-point favorites. And it took them till damn near the minute mark to win that ball game. So we know what can happen. And that was no division rival. That was a coach in his first ever game, right? I mean, I still don't know what the guy's name is. What is it, GIF? The only reason I remember it's like the GIFs, like on Twitter.
Uh-huh.
And then you got Easton Stick last week. You have no Keenan Allen. Obviously, Mike Williams has been out all year, right? You have almost no production all year from Austin Eckler. And
no Joey Bosa
won that game. Exactly right. And also no Joey Bosa. So as much as, but if you're a Bills fan and you're locked in as much as we are, this. I don't need to tell you. The Bills at any given moment can beat you by 40, or they can do exactly what they did last week. And every year they do a combination of both, at least ever since they've risen to the prominence here. They can beat the living hell out of you, and they sure as hell can leave you in a game. What do the Bills want to do today? You leave these guys around like Denver did last week. They will win. I mean, they've done it. All 4 of their wins this year, for the most part, have been like that. And
you said something. I'm sorry to interrupt you, man, but you mentioned something that really just brought a thought to my head. You said how do the Bills need to perform, basically? And I had this question on my show last night, and I was like, oh man, I wonder about this. What kind of Sean McDermott can we expect to see in this game? Like what kind of coaching decision? Because Sean McDermott, no doubt, he understands the just how important this game is. But does Sean McDermott coach aggressively this game, wanting just to beat the snot out of him and really punish him? Or does he revert to his conservative nature and coach more conservative, trying to, hold on to the ball and play keep away, because we've seen that type of coaching style before and how it ends up, not working out in their favor. So I'm curious to know from you, how do you think Sean McDermott is going to coach this game?
Well, it's an interesting question because you go back to the last time these guys played, and I think the game was lost on the Bills' opening series. First throw of the game, Josh Allen throws a pick. So you could argue that there was an aggressive mentality in that game to try and get back into it, seeing that they went down 10-0 and they still couldn't get anything going until late in the third, early fourth. But this Bills team as of late has seemed so different than that team of Week 7. They were playing almost every single game in that fashion, where they would do next to nothing for at least half the game. Whether it was first half or second half, it was primarily always the first half during that stretch. Then they'd turn it on a bit in the late fourth when it was far too late. They did it in that game. They did it in the Denver game. They did that in the Jacksonville game. Countless amounts of games where they had nothing going until it was too late, and they would make it look respectable on the scoreboard. But we all know if you watch the game, it just wasn't what the scoreboard reflected. As of late, I've loved what they've done, and I think it's a combination of a little bit of both. When you're talking about how you're phrasing your question there, aggressive and conservative, they've been kind of letting the game flow dictate how they approach their mentality. Like the Dallas example to me is the best because they didn't go into that game telling James Cook that he was going to run the ball 25 times. Right. They just noticed that that was working, and that's my biggest praise for Joe Brady has been since the move was made. Ken Dorsey's biggest Achilles heel was his inability to do what made sense in the most commonsensical situations.
Yeah.
Joe Brady,
I agree.
I said on my show before I even heard his press conference, I just said it just felt like in that Dallas game, Joe Brady said, "It's not broke. I'm not gonna fix it." And he literally said that in his post game yesterday, and it got me thinking. Joe Brady, no doubt about it, great. I mean, football mind. You don't get to this level if you're not. So obviously, real good coach. We don't know exactly yet how great an OC. We can't say he's a great OC. He's been a great intro, right? Well, we can't sit here and base it off the level of other guys that have been in the position for an extended amount of time. But I mean, no one's done better in an interim role nobody could really do better, I should say, than what he's done. But what I will say, it's not even the coaching. It's not the X's and O's. It's what he did. It's amazing to me how obvious it was, how necessary it was, and their inability to do it before he got there. And it was just like the little things. It goes to Josh Allen. Just be you today. Not broke, don't fix it. We're going to run it. We're going to run Josh Allen when it makes sense. We're going to get James Cook involved in the pass game. Hey, if Gabe Davis doesn't catch a ball, who cares? We have our offense orchestrated in such a way today where that's going to benefit us. Yeah. And then we're going to have games like last week where Gabe Davis is the shining star. He has seemingly found I don't know the best way to say it. He has almost found every single game the crevices within the opposing team's vulnerabilities.
Yeah, I get it.
He's absolutely attacked them full on. Right. And it's led to a win in every single game but the Eagles game. And if not for a 60-yard field goal in the pouring rain and regulation, would have been a win too. Still had the lead in overtime. So it's been a terrific job. And I think you can't overstate it enough. It's been a terrific job for the simplest and easiest reasons. But apparently they just weren't that easy at one Bills drive until he wound up taking over.
Isn't it? So, and that's a frustrating part too, because you almost want to go back and say, man, what if you're going to play the what if game? What if Sean McDermott had made the decision earlier? Where would the Buffalo Bills be right now?
You know what the what if I play though sometimes, Rev? And this is crazy, and I fully agree with this. What if there's not 12 men on the field? Are the Bills even in a position to clinch today? Do they ever get the spark? So I hear you. I feel like the what if though goes both ways. I feel like there's a good what if. There's also a real bad what if out there that I think might have gone. I mean, you gotta really sit back and understand that if there's not 12 men on that field, Ken Dorsey's not getting fired the next day. That's right. Yes. And I don't know what comes of this team after that. I don't know. Yeah. They've been nothing close to that team since. So I've never been more thankful for a loss that literally I'm pretty sure the neighbors 2 floors down below me called to make sure that I was being resuscitated. Because of how hard I hit the floor. Maybe it was the best thing that ever happened to this team.
That and that Tyler Dunn article. Lit a fire.
And the T-Dunn article.
Yeah, lit a fire on these boys, and they're like, what?
Isn't that what's so weird about the season, though, Rev? But all these weird things that you never would seek out for motivation. You'd never seek out as something that could make your team better. And I'll be damned if I don't think those two things have immeasurably impacted this team in a positive way. I full-heartedly believe that.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you can't quantify it, but you can tell it sparked something, and that was a huge motivating factor for the Buffalo Bills, and they've been on a tear ever since. I mean, they've been a completely different football team, top to bottom, and as difficult as it's been, this season. I mean, it's kind of hard not to go back and say, man, I'm actually kind of grateful that it happened that way because of the results that we got right now.
I wonder if you had a crystal ball. Like I wonder someday we'll have the technology; it'll be available to us. we'll be able to simulate, right? Whatever. Well, the New York Times simulator, but real life situations, right?
Yeah.
It will be able to say what happens if McDermott just puts 11 guys on the damn field. What are the Bills at right now? And I don't know. There's a weird part about me, Rev, that thinks the Bills are one game less than what they're at right now. I just feel like there's one less game on the win column, and that right now would be the death blow. One less game. I don't know.
Really would.
Maybe it's just me making the chicken out of chicken or chicken salad out of chicken shit. I don't know. It's all I have in front of me. But what I do know is I have a sample size of 5 games, and they just so happen to be 5 of the best games this team's played all season. And like I said, they're an overtime game away from winning all of them. So how can I not think that was a major contributing factor to where the Bills are right now?
100%. But that's why I go back to my what if. Like, what if Ken Dorsey was fired beforehand? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you put
that's the other one.
Joe Brady, you put Joe Brady in there earlier. You know how far? I mean, the Bills probably be sitting at the number 1 seed. Look at my man.
I was waiting to ask him that. I see his Sunday best. I was waiting to ask. He was looking around. I didn't know if he was ready, but he's ready.
Oh, your boy's ready. My son was trying to get down here. I was like, get that kid out of here. He ain't ready for the prime time.
Prime time? Rico, where do you think,
man?
Let's just get after it right now with you, because I love that. We haven't talked about this as a group. I haven't really talked about it at all. I love the idea of it. Where are the Bills today in your mind if the Denver Broncos game goes a different way, Ken Dorsey never gets canned? Is it the same team today in your opinion?
You know what? It is. Because guys, people want to kill Ken Dorsey, but if there was a side by side like a couple weeks ago when they went side by side to see EPA and all that stuff that I'm not too strong with, but everything was on par. Actually, there was a few categories that Ken Dorsey was losing to Joe Brady on. So the offense was rolling. I mean, don't forget we drubbed the Raiders. We took care of business, so the offense was rolling. There was just a lull somewhere, and that's where trust was lost. You know what I'm saying? Where the offense wasn't rolling the way it was. So even if we won that Denver game, and did you feel good about it? I mean, does Dallas feel good about the win they had yesterday? Heck no.
Holy hell, dude. That was
good. They lost that game.
I still can't stop thinking about that.
So when you go back to that Denver game, okay, so let's just say that Buddy makes the field goal. We would have been in the same position. Just one win. That would have been the difference, but the feeling would have been the same. Yes, we got the win, but golly, we barely got away with it. So like I think things would have been the same, but I think the biggest thing was there was a battle between philosophies, and I think McDermott grew tired of Dorsey's philosophy and just wouldn't change. Like there was no adjustments, right? We were all complaining, where the adjustments? Where are the adjustments? So I think slightly everything would have been the same. I think the biggest thing is we need to charge up Josh Allen. And Josh Allen, if you saw, I mean, look at the side-by-sides. You saw there was a disheveled picture of Josh, hair all to the side, just looking like man, like a mugshot. Yeah. You know what I mean? So,
and that to me was everything. It's got nothing to do with the EPA or the plays. It's that. That's been the most noticeable thing.
Absolutely. And
Allen smiled for the first time in weeks after that, right? Remember? I mean, at the Jets game, he actually cracked a smile, and he's been doing it ever since.
I think Ken Dorsey had Josh thinking too much, man. You know, when you go back to that messaging, aggressive, not conservative, or whatever the phrase. I think he made his mess his head up. I mean, he was playing gun shy. It was weird, man.
And Cody says, I disagree. We're better now. We are better now, but there was just a few tweaks that needed to happen. That was more so they weren't playing inspirational ball.
Run game.
They were just kind of going through the motions. And with Ken Dorsey, that's exactly what was happening. So when the younger, more spry Joe Brady came through and was like, listen, man, we're going to revitalize this run game. We're not going to give up on it. And we're going to make things a little easier for Josh. And Josh, you're still going to be you. And we're going to get you the ball and run the football. We're going to get you in space. We're going to get you design runs. And now that's like you've woken up the beast, if you will. And now my man's is beasting. We're on a 3-game win streak. We're supposed to make it 4. I just looked at the inactive list.
Oh, you're reading my mind.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to
I was going to say, speaking of tweets that needed to be made, but one that I did not anticipate. Where do we begin? Let's start.
Come on, it's obvious.
Take the stage. Von Miller, your immediate thoughts on them finally coming around to the fact that he should just not be on the field.
It's about time. It's about time. Like that brother, like, come on now. Like, we've seen him not. I mean, he's just not the same. I get it. Okay, well, we're kind of getting him ramped up, and how long are we going to play this? All the injury thing. I mean, come on now, like. It's a production. It's all about production in this league, and he has not produced since he got on the field. Now, maybe you can question whether or not they put him on the field too soon. That's debatable. That's questionable. But the fact of the matter is, he has done absolutely nothing since he joined the Bills on the field and his return. And it's about time. I get it. They're paying him a lot of money. They're trying to give him his just due. But my God, what is he doing on the field? He's just wasting space. It's good that
So it was the only
justifying. That's exactly what it is, man. And trying to pacify him and make him feel good about himself. And then you get Eric Washington talking about, well, he's doing stuff that's not on the stat sheet. I'm like, I can't see it, brother. Like, where's it at, Eric?
Right.
Well, where's it at?
Gabe Davis had as many tackles on the year as he did. You guys see that stat? Blew my mind. Gabe Davis had as many tackles on the year as Von Miller did.
Oh, that's nasty.
That's bad.
I don't even know how that's possible. I mean, I guess it's because of Allen's 15 picks. I guess
interceptions.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but I saw
tackling on interception.
Rico, what do you think?
You're a nasty man for bringing that up, Bot. You're a nasty man for bringing that up.
I mean, listen, I had to share it because I couldn't keep that to myself. I damn near made me sick to my stomach. Well, I almost think, hey, Gabe, if he's not catching balls, at least he's filling Von's shoes in. But Rico, I mean, how do you feel here? We're almost 2 years in here, and obviously you can't help an injury and stuff. But man, I mean, this has been an absolute nightmare, and the coaches are finally realizing, hey, we can't put you out there anymore.
It's a tough blow for Von Miller because I don't think he ever thought he'd be in this position where he's got to be facing the fact that, hey, man, and the conversation part of it was like, hey, listen, based on what's going on right now, and we're going to sit you this week. I think we're going to give these young boys a chance. We're going to get you guys, we're going to get your legs underneath you and get ready for the playoffs. We'll be able to clinch this one and look for him to probably sit the next two, to be honest with you, and get these boys. Yeah. You've got our guy, DeQuan Jones coming back. So that changes AJ Epinesa returning, right?
Yeah.
Don't you see, social media has been going nuts. AJ, the super Samoan, is back at it. So, like, how do you can't take if you put Von Miller back on that field, you take the sail underneath us, right?
Yes.
You take the sail. There's no juice left. So you got to put guys that have the juice that's ready to go out there and handle work. Now, the tough part about this situation is, and why it took so damn long, is it's for the namesake. Von Miller. You can't bench Von Miller. And they never really had a justification to bench him. So you have to have justification. You have to have what we call just cause. And the just cause is cause you sucked the last freaking 8 games.
He's sucked all year, man.
I took a page out of my
man.
The
reality is, too, AJ Epinesa deserves those snaps. That's the other thing. When that guy's on the field, how many game-changing plays has he made this year in limited opportunities? I mean, there are guys who deserve the snaps. And I just think that finally, it's gotten to a point where everybody's caught up with it. I think for a while, fellas, I don't know how you feel, but Von slid under the radar. Like, no one was really talking about it. And then all of a sudden it became a topic on the broadcast every week. Von hasn't done anything. And then that was starting to get social media traction. So I think finally there was also good graces in the building where you're like, you know what? I don't think anybody would be upset if we did this either. It just all makes sense any way you shape it. I mean, it really does.
It's namesake. He's not producing, and now that you've got guys that will produce, that's going to change the way this defense plays. A little more juice in it. It just makes sense. Is it tough decisions to make? Yes, but if Von really looks at himself in the mirror, he really knows. He knows that he's playing the way he's playing. Now, do we have to give him a level of grace to go with this? Because we gave Trey White the level of grace, right? Hey, he just come back off injury, and then the following year, Trey White was playing at a Pro Bowl level. He's playing very well until obviously the unfortunate Achilles injury. Now, there's a difference. Trey White is not even 30.
He ain't not right.
He's in his mid-30s. So are we going to get the old Von next year potentially, or is that a potential conversation to say, let's cut our losses now? That's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah, man.
That's a lot of money on the line. And that's a lot of money right now sitting on the inactive list. Golly, you sitting next to DeMar Hamlin. You know what I mean?
That's why I'm kind of shocked they actually put it in print. I mean, they could have just not played him. That's the most stunning thing, I think. Actually putting him on the inactive list.
Inactive, yeah. Like, he's not even dressing. Like, you sit down.
Get that out of the way. I mean, how bad would it have been if you're like, okay, Von Miller is not on the inactive list. Cool. And all of a sudden at the end of the game, you're like, what the hell? Von Miller only had one snap.
You would never know the difference.
Yeah, but then on top of that, fellas, you have to think about the impact that it's having in the locker room too, because guys are. I mean, they understand that it's a production business, and they know when guys aren't producing. I know they see Von Miller is Von Miller, right? Finger quotes, but he's like, yo, this guy ain't really doing nothing. How is he still sitting here getting all these snaps? You know what I'm saying? And we got other guys that are more deserving, that they're producing more than he is. And so they understand this. All right, this is just politics. It's all about money, whatever. They run the risk of losing some of the guys' trust in the locker room. And if you want to send that message about hey, put the best 53 out there, no matter who you are, whatever the case may be, they had to make this move and sit him out, for this game, and even maybe next week we'll talk about that later. But they had to do it.
So
this feels like a move today that's for the future. I feel like this is going to be a continued move. I don't know why they would just do it today. Does that make sense?
Yeah, especially if you're looking at guys like Kingsley Jonathan and other guys like that stepping up, depending on what they do today.
Yeah,
all depending on how obviously DaQuan Jones reacts, right? So does he have a setback? Does DaQuan Jones come in and does he perform like the old DaQuan Jones at the beginning of the season? But if he has a setback, it's not great, then so be it. I think this is purely for this game. I think we'll see him again. And you know what a benching can do to you, right? Yeah. Sometimes you need these moments to say, okay, am I at the end of my career? I'm sure he knows that, but like this move is not something that I could just scoff at. This means something. As much money as I'm making, the status of my name, all right, I need to get my act together. And this might be one of those situations where, okay, big fella, I need to check myself in the mirror and be like, I need to play better because clearly I'm not. So maybe this is one of those things where it wakes him up potentially for next week and playoffs. But listen, we got to clinch today first. Let's clinch today. Yep. Let's make sure we handle business. And why not put your best guys forward and clinch? I love the fact that McDermott is a man of his word, because he said, I'm going to put out the best players on the field no matter what. They were talking about that when James Cook fumbled again. And I think it was Hardy fumbled. They're like, hey, man, like, how come you didn't? He's like, I'm leaving the guys that are best suited to do work. And he kept his word. You ain't playing well enough, so you got to go. So to me, I think it was long. It was like my man Rep said, it was a long overdue. It's about time. So now wake up, wipe the crust from your eyes, and notice that this team is about to leave you behind. You better get your ish together and start showing why we signed you. Because remember, we said this, right? We didn't sign him for what he could do on the field per se, is what he's going to teach the others. So now you're noticing that AJ Epinez's game has moved up, and all of his game up. So maybe they did get their return on investment, but in a different way. We are selfish because we want the sacks. We want all that stuff. Can't get it all.
No, that I totally agree with. It hasn't been $110 million worth, but I 100% wholeheartedly agree with that. I think that if we look back and this is all we got, at least my silver lining will be that, because I genuinely think it's accurate. All of those guys' game improved when he got there. I mean, it's really unarguable. Now, whether that's a coincidence or not, I have no idea. But if I'm going to look back at the amount of money they gave this guy and what we got out of it, you better believe I'm hitting the pillow at night convincing myself that was the reason why, because I feel way better about it. Because there's part of me with Von, and this is no indictment to him, by the way. This has happened with so many athletes. Happened with Michael Jordan. Happened with Shaq. Happened with just about every damn near great out there. No one remembers the end. No one remembers, Jordan playing on the Wizards. No one really remembers Shaq bouncing around to every team in the NBA before he retired. They don't remember that. And nobody's going to remember Von playing for Buffalo when you're going into Canton with a Super Bowl MVP and 2 Super Bowls under your belt. And I think Von knows that. And I got to be honest with you, I don't blame him. He signed here. The Bills offered him the money. I mean, it wasn't like there was a million other people out there willing to do it. The Rams wanted to move off. The Bills were willing to give him that money. And he's going to take it, obviously. It's not his fault he got injured, and it's not his fault that with the age and the injury comes whatever has come of this. I mean, it's unfortunate. But we're talking about, lighting a fire under his ass and this and that. I personally think if I'm him, and I'm speaking based on myself, putting myself on his shoes, the competitor in me definitely cares. But knowing my track record, it's not like I got drafted by these guys 3 years ago and I got to prove my worth here. he's a first ballot tomorrow if it comes down to it. So I think personally, he probably
doesn't care.
He might not care. He might not care. And I gotta be honest, looking at it from my perspective, I would care. When I say not care, I say I don't think it's eating at him where he's like, man, I got to get back out there, because I'm looking at it. If I'm him, I get to look back at what I did, and I gave it one last crack and it didn't work out the way I wanted. And I'd probably be at peace with that, to be honest with you.
I think for him,
you can't do it for
I think it's probably taking a hit on his pride, right? Because he in his mind, and we saw this like the entire offseason and going back. I mean, how dialed in he was to getting back, and how he was like, hey, I'm coming back and I'm going to be ready. And then just the reality of the situation that I'm just not quite ready, or like I thought. It's like when you get up in age. You know what I'm saying? You get older, like your mind tells you one thing that your body tells you another thing. You know what I'm saying? Like your mind's like, yo, I can do this. I can still hoop with these 20-year-olds. But then you get out there with them 20-year-olds and your body's like, yeah, hold up, brother. I can only run maybe a couple of games and I'm done. I think the reality of the situation with Vaughn is like, I just ain't got it right now. But at least I think it has to do with the injury. I would like to see what happens when he gets a full offseason to really get that thing back right. And if we're talking about this again next year and he's still showing to be sluggish, then you can chalk it up to age. But right now, I think it's purely injury related, because I don't think he can get back. I mean, you talk about like, being set on the bench on the sideline to kind of get right. I don't think he can get right physically. I don't think he's at that stage right now, health wise, for him to really do it. I think we're just going to have to wait for next year. The question could be that will he even be here for that?
Well, listen,
that's the thing. Are you holding out for that? That's the question.
Yeah.
Let's go back, and we've watched Von Miller play, and just based on what I see, I ain't no film guru. But when you see him plant, he can't plant. He's taking the scenic route to the quarterback instead of stopping on the dime, cut back in like old Von of last year. So he's not even right. So the fact that we trotted him out there, him telling us, I mean, he was already overzealous already. He was like, yeah, I'm coming back. Like, when he got the injury, didn't he say, I'll be back for the playoffs? I'll be back. I'll be back.
Yeah.
That's way too soon. Come on, man. So then he's been prepped that he's coming back. He's come back way sooner. He's running. And Thigh Dog has been telling us he ain't ready. And I think they put him out way too soon. And it's the results. You're seeing the results right now, and it got him pretty much inactive. Had he waited, maybe we get the Von Miller we needed, or maybe we would have never got it. But the fact of the matter is this: since London, I think it was the first game he was activated, we haven't felt the impact. So milk carton is going to continue to circulate in all stores, and hopefully somebody will find him. Maybe it'll reach somewhere. I don't know. Listen, I think my man is in Connecticut. You in Connecticut, Z-Bot? So
post
maybe
it up.
Listen, if you pop that fridge open, you see one of the cartons. If his name is there, see if you can find him out there, because we need that Von Miller that was impactful last year. Where we're just not getting him right now.
No.
To put a bow on it, I'll just say this: there's no question the competitor in him, because he wants to be out there. I think that he's probably seeing a moment like this. I feel like it's gotta be the, I don't know, the forced acknowledgement that this is just the reality of what happens when you have a major injury and you are on a contract that was essentially a gift from above to begin with, really. I mean, Von probably would have been more than fine riding off into the sunset after LA. Wouldn't you agree? So the competitor in him obviously wants to get back out there. He's playing. That's why he kept saying, I'm coming back. I just wonder if now he's getting to the point where he's going to, this stuff happens. He's seeing his inability. It could go one of two ways. The way I was trying to frame it, I guess, is I'm looking at it from two ways. The one way I could see him looking at it, though, is being at peace and being all right with the fact that he did give it his best shot. I mean, hell, you can't deny the fact that he tried his best to get off of that injury instantly. I mean, you can't deny it. So he definitely wanted it. But I just wonder if he's like, you know what? This might be my time. And if that's the case, I sure as hell couldn't knock him, because anybody who could look back and have the career he had and call it quits now and have the track record, I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody going into the draft when they're drafted and would turn down a career that Von Miller had. So it's
can I put one more inappropriate ball? And I put it this way: we all are in relationships right now, and back in the old days, if your lady wanted a round, maybe 2, maybe 3, you could probably put that in there. Nowadays, your woman wants another round. You're like, hey, hold on now. Your brother, I can't give you another round now because I got time. I need time to recover. And Von Miller's in recovery. He's in recovery mode.
Yeah.
He can't go another round right now. So he's got to wait till next year, and then we got to make a decision. But the way Bot put it, it's apropos. We just gotta wait it out and see how it plays out. But that brother ain't got another round in him. He can't do it. Tap out.
No.
Can't do it,
No.
Can't do it.
I hope the guy we're eating our words and we see some sort of like, I don't know, Linsanity type run for one final year of Von Miller. That would be extraordinary. But we'll see. Maybe it's more the injury than we're thinking. I mean, and
I think so.
The reason I think that is because of what you said, Rico, the scenic route. I mean, he wouldn't be doing that. You can't
really
tell me he'd be out on the field doing that purposely if he had the ability to do to have more of an impact. There's no doubt about it. All right, so Von Miller inactive, but there's plenty of other active players today trying to clinch them on the effing playoff spot, boys. And we got a super chat earlier from Austin. And Austin saying, can you tell us the scenarios again we can clinch today with a win and who has to lose? Well, I'm glad Austin asked. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but we will go at it again because that's all that matters today, folks. That's all that matters today. A Bills win and then rooting for the clinching. So here is the scenario at hand, and I want to ask you boys your confidence level on this happening. Okay, so there's a few scenarios at the forefront today for these Buffalo Bills to clinch a playoff spot by day's end. Bills obviously have to beat the Patriots. That is the one, lockstep ingredient in this make the playoff suit. Bills have got to beat the Patriots. I surely hope as 14-point favorites at home after losing to them in week 7, you can get that done. I really hope that's in the cards today. So the Bills win. That's step 1. Here are the other scenarios. A Seahawks victory over the Steelers, a Chiefs victory over the Bengals. That will clinch it for the Buffalo Bills. A Houston Texans loss, an Indianapolis Colts loss, and either a Pittsburgh or a Cincinnati Bengals loss will clinch it for the Buffalo Bills. And then the final one, Jacksonville Jaguars loss to Carolina. And I know you're thinking, no, that's impossible. Trevor Lawrence is not playing today. That in conjunction with either a Pitt loss or a Cincy loss clinches it for the Bills. So in every scenario, the Bills need either Pitt or Cincy to lose or both. And then a variety of other things. The most straightforward one, in my opinion, is the 3 home favorites winning today and clinching it. And that would be the Bills winning at home as a favorite. That would be the Seahawks at home winning as a favorite. That would be the Chiefs winning at home as a favorite. Rev, I'm going to start with you. Where's your confidence level at right now, under a half hour until kick, that by the end of the 4 o'clock slate today, the Bills will have stamped their ticket to the playoffs?
Give me 99.9% confident. That's exactly how I'm feeling right now. Like the Bills didn't come this far to lose. They're going to handle their own business. But when you go through the scenarios, I can easily see the Seahawks winning at home or the Steelers. Come on now, we're talking about Pittsburgh here. The only one, and I heard you this morning talk about that's kind of like, I don't know, the Chiefs and Bengals.
I know.
The Bengals always play those guys tough. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be a very good game. But regardless of all the, I see it happening. I just don't see it. I don't see any way in which the Bills win and all of those other factors just don't happen at all. I think the Bills are going to clinch at today's end, and we're going to be sitting back with happy faces and getting ready for the scared Dolphins after they take their butt whipping today too.
Rico, are you at 99.9? Are you north of that? Are you at 100?
I'm at 100. I'm at 100. Our backs are against the wall. There's no way. Don't forget, we lost to the Patriots in a fashion where we're like, what? Josh Allen does what he does, gets us over the top. We got 1 minute and 58 seconds left. You let Macaroni Jones all the way down, and he was chefing it up on us. He was chefing it up.
Yeah, he was.
Into a win with 12 seconds left to Gesicki. You don't think that the Bills remember that? No. We remember that for sure. We're going, and we're at home. There ain't no way we don't take care of business against the Patriots. Now, if we don't, my goodness, you know what? Y'all don't deserve to be.
I don't deserve it.
Y'all don't deserve to be here. I mean, we almost faltered against the damn Chargers. We'll give you that. You're on the road. You went all the way to the West Coast. All right. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
They say there ain't no damn excuse to let the Bill Belichick come in and sweep you. Now, here's on the flip side, because everybody hates when I do that. You always do that. You don't believe in your team. Yes, the hell I do. Be quiet. All right. Here's the deal. Bill Belichick, well respected in the league, also well respected by his players. They're playing hard for Bill Belichick, especially on the defensive side of the ball. You can't tell me that they're not going to play extra hard to ruin the chances for the Bills to go to the playoffs, number one, and two, play hard for the coach that's probably going to be coaching somewhere else. So it's like it's been an honor to play for you, Coach Belichick. We're going to bust our. They're very motivated to do, but we are just too overpowered for them. We are just too motivated. We will smash the Patriots today. And I don't want to come out overconfident, but it's what we have to do. We have to do. And not only that, we want to make our guy get the MVP. So I need a 300-yard game potentially. Maybe not 300, 250. 3 touchdown passes, and then then we're confidently going into week 18 against the Dolphins. But we need to get this. I'm 100%. Z-Bot, what say you?
Rico set up the segue, so we will go down it as well as Darren, who says, I see Bills fans saying, as long as we win the ball, I don't care about MVP. I hate that comment.
Me too.
Everyone's always like, why does everyone care about the MVP? We got a Super Bowl to ring to win, dang it. Can we not root for both? Why is it every time you bring up the MVP, someone says we should be focused on the Super Bowl? It doesn't matter either way. Somebody's got to win it. And Josh Allen is the MVP right now. And we'll get into that in a second. But Darren says, I see Bills fans saying, as long as we win the ball, I don't care about MVP. Well, duh. But you can't tell me that a QB and the team who has a 4% chance to get into the playoffs and now can potentially get the 2 seed isn't valuable. Chef's kiss, Darren, because there are 3 quarterbacks in the league currently that are capable of doing what Darren's portraying, and that's taking a team from one level to the other, almost solely on the back of yourself. Josh Allen has accounted for 83% of the Buffalo Bills scores this season. Is absolutely insane. I think the nearest in the MVP race right now would be Lamar at just north of 50%, I believe. Now, does that mean Josh Allen is probably relied upon far too much on this team? Yes. But does that mean he's executing at a high enough level to where, like Darren said, if things go right, and they very well could, the Bills could be the 2 seed at this time next week? The answer is yeah. So I don't care what's being asked of them, whether it's too much or not, like everybody likes to bitch about, and it's true. Nobody asks more of their quarterback than the Buffalo Bills do. But does anybody deliver on that expectation more? 4 consecutive seasons of 40 touchdowns or more. He'll be going into this game with his 13th game this season with a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. It's absurdity. I understand what comes with the greatness is the turnovers that everybody likes to hone in on. He's got a couple more turnovers than your favorite quarterback. Just a couple, I promise, look it up. So you watch the other night when Brock Purdy goes out in a big spot and messes his pants. You watch when Tyreek Hill's out and Tua can't get the ball down the field. It's a quarterback award. You want to give it to McCaffrey or Tyreek Hill this season, I'm all in for that. I'm fine with that. But if we're going to do what everybody knows they're going to do, and that's give it to a quarterback, we'll give it to one that's actually the most valuable, not the one with the best statistics. By the way, the one who does seem to be the most valuable, in my opinion, just so happens to also have some of the best statistics. It's not like you're getting one without the other. So if it's Lamar, I'm fine with it because I think it's very similar in Baltimore. We watched last year unfold. A December without Lamar Jackson in Baltimore was not the same. Give it to one of those 2 guys, I'm all for it. But all this other bullshit, it's ridiculous. And to the people who don't care about it, I don't really care about it either. But if we're going to have the conversation, if we're going to start throwing out names like Tua and Brock Purdy and Dak Prescott, I'm going to have to say something every chance I get because it's absolutely ridiculous. Fellas, your thoughts?
It is completely ridiculous. Go ahead, Rick. Go ahead.
Before we get into our thoughts, because we're getting into, and I love what Bot just did there, because he has had enough. He's had enough. He's saying,
how do you watch this league and have some of the takes people come at you with, and they're being completely serious?
Well, this is perfect because this gives an opportunity for people to jump on the underdog and grab the underdog in this race, and that's Josh Allen. But don't let us talk about it. Let my man Pierre talk about it.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. It's also the fastest growing fantasy app in the industry. In the pick'em game, you can pick whether your favorite players will have a higher or lower stat total in that week's game for a chance to win big. And as you already know, I'm going Josh Allen higher in yards every single week. So sign up today with promo code Buffalo Fanatics and get your first deposit doubled up to $100. Visit underdogfantasy.com or find them in the App Store. And don't forget to register with promo code Buffalo Fanatics to get your first deposit doubled up to $100.
Listen, not only that, he's going to be higher in yards, higher in touchdowns. Yo, put it on Josh. I'm telling you right now.
Put it on Josh.
Put it on Josh, baby. Rev, I'll let you hop on after my man Zebot on that MVP chatter because I love where Zebot's going with this. I love it.
Look, I feel like the NFL would hate to have to give it to Josh. They don't want to give it to this brother for nothing. And all of this conversation talk about the interception, the turnovers, people are harping on that small fact, but they're ignoring what this brother does. And we heard about it. Greeny mentioned it, a few weeks back. And it's still doing the same old thing. You know, everybody's still looking at, but the turnover, man, forget the turnover. Look at what Josh is doing. And I get it. People want to, look at Lamar Jackson, but you can't even give it to Lamar because the touchdown to touchdown comparison is a great gulf between the two guys, right? Josh Allen, 4 straight years of 40+ touchdowns. History in the making. I get it. You don't like Josh. I get it, but he's making history. Josh Allen's put up crazy numbers every single year. I get it. You don't like Josh. You don't want to give it to him, but it's all right. Josh Allen has climbed his team back into the playoff condition. I get it. You don't like him. You guys put all your money on Josh last year, and he hurt your feelings. I get it, but Josh is still doing his thing. The team is fighting for the playoff life. You don't want to give it to him. You want to give it to the hot guy with the best record. But here's the problem. You can't find him. You can't find him because when you look at Josh and you look at his numbers, he's like, dang, you like that gif where that guy's walking with his girl and the other girl walks by and he's looking back. And you see, you're like, yo, but Josh.
And you're like, why is he looking back at Brock Purdy? I'm with the better looking girl.
Yeah, right. And Josh is walking by like, yeah, what?
Like, what are
Josh
you doing?
Is here, baby. I know you don't like it. I know you don't want to give it to him, but Josh is gonna make y'all give it to him regardless. And he's gonna win the Super Bowl on top of that.
And here's the point that I made on my show on Friday, and I'm standing on it like I'm standing on my business. And here it is. If you want to give it to Brock Purdy, go ahead and give it to Brock Purdy. But you can't give it to Brock Purdy because CMC is having just as good a year. And you can't give Brock Purdy that award when he's not even the best player on his squad. Eliminated. In my opinion, that's elimination right off the bat. All right, let's who's the other candidate? Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is very much deserving. He can obviously he needs like 350 yards to crack the record. I don't think he's gonna go 2,000, right? So that's MVP.
He missed time too, and he's still that close.
Absolutely, he's missed a game, and you don't want to give it to him, but then you want to consider Tua Tagovailoa. You can't give Tua the damn award when Tyreek is one of the best players in the game. You're gonna give it to Tua? Eliminated. It's all right. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Here we go again, right? How are you going to give it to Lamar Jackson? Well, Lamar Jackson won an MVP not too long ago. He had 36 touchdowns, less than 10 interceptions, and you want to give him the MVP this year when he's got less yards, less touchdowns, less everything. He's not even in the top 5 in any damn category. Eliminated. So the guy that's standing 10 toes down is Josh Allen. So you might as well give that brother the damn award and call it a day. It's going to be the trifecta. It's going to be the Madden Award, MVP, Super Bowl champs. Let's get it rolling, man. We got to go one at a time.
Here we go, baby.
Give him, you know what? Give him the quadruple. What is it? What do you call when the
quad?
horse? The quad?
Just call it the quad.
Give him the quad, baby. You mean we might as well get Alex Lucci out here and give him the quad, man. Give him the quad.
Add on top of this, the one thing we're also ignoring, politics are 100% involved in this. Nikola Jokic Nikola Jokic won back-to-back MVPs in the NBA. The only reason Joel Embiid won it last year is because they did not want to have him, Jokic be the first ever guy to win back-to-back-to-back. He deserved it more than Embiid did last year. Honestly, LeBron should have probably won it 15 consecutive years in a row. Tom Brady should probably have won the MVP 10, 15 times. There's politics involved. If there weren't, that's the way it would go. So what I'm getting at is Lamar's already won one. Allen's numbers are infinitely better right now. If it comes down to those two, isn't it time to give Allen his? That's how I see it. I hate to look at it like that, but I also know the reality of this bullshit, and that's part of it. Does Lamar deserve a second over Josh not having one when the way the cards are being dealt right now this year, and it seems to be leaning Allen anyways? Just because Baltimore's the 1 seed doesn't mean, and I'm not knocking it. I mean, Lamar to me is one of those 3 guys right now in the league that infinitely alters their team. But I just think if it comes down to comparing the 3 bodies of work this year between Mahomes, Allen, and Jackson, I'm taking Allen this year. And there's plenty of years in the past where I would have taken one or the other. It's the truth. But this year, the way it's been dealt out, where there's not a clear-cut winner and there's politics involved, to me, it just seems like it's time. I don't know.
Are we being homers?
Oh, for sure. I also feel like I'm not at the same time. I mean, I watch every single one of these games. And I saw someone in here earlier. Saying hating on Purdy. I'm not hating on Purdy. I love watching that dude play. He's a surgeon with it.
Purdy's
but
nice.
If you think I think he's the most valuable player on the 49ers, when they got about 8 Hall of Famers on that team, you're out of your mind. I'm sorry. I mean, I think he's a phenomenal quarterback. He's incredibly accurate, and he does exactly what is needed from him for that team to be successful. But when we're talking, the word that gets lost in this every time is valuable. I mean, how even Joe Burrow went down and Jake Browning came in and put up 30 points in damn near 3 consecutive games. I'm not saying Joe Burrow isn't valuable. Of course he is. But if Allen went down, does this team win a ball game? I don't think so. Or if they do, it's incredibly ugly.
Let me add this. Quarterback that had an offensive coordinator fired in the middle of the season, given a new offensive coordinator, and has gone on a run. And you got to give him the MVP. He's gone through 2 offensive coordinators right now. He's got Ken Dorsey. He's going through another one, and he's putting up numbers. Come on, man.
Yeah, and his coach is being crucified in front of the entire country as well in the midst of all of it, on top of it. There's a million things.
I think we made a case for them, folks. I think we made a case.
While we're making cases, fellas, let's make a case for what you expect to see today at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're 10 minutes away. Rev, talk to me. Give me your case. Give me your score. Tell me what we're about to witness in just 10 short minutes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give it to you like this. Bills Mafia, calm down, relax. All right. This game, though it's massive for the Buffalo Bills, I feel very confident in this game. The Buffalo Bills are back at home. High stakes. They understand what's at stake. They understand what they have to do, and I know they're gonna get a valiant effort by the New England Patriots, playing for their coach who could be playing for his last home game and all that kind of last game, whatever, all that kind of stuff. But they're decimated. They have a lot of guys that are out in this game. They don't want to play. They say that they want to play. They really don't want to play this game. They're done. The Bills are going to come out here and crush these Patriots today. Make a statement, not just a close win where we squeaked by like we did last week. No. That's not happening. They are sending a message loud and clear for everybody who is in the playoff race right now that we are the Buffalo Bills, and y'all got to look over your shoulders, adjust that rearview mirror, and look at who's right behind you on your tail. Miami, you know what I'm saying? And week 18 gonna be for the number 2 seed and the division, and we're gonna chill and have a happy New Year's and go into New Year's on top, man. That's how I'm feeling, man. I feel exceptionally well.
That was going to be my next question. Who you got? I want to know. I want to also know who you guys got in Baltimore, Miami, so we know where Rev's at. Rico, where are you at?
Yeah, I got the Ravens taking it, but I think it's going to be a very close matchup. It's not going to be as a whooping as the Ravens put on the 49ers. This one's going to be a very close one. But I have the Ravens winning this because they want that number 1 seed. Because I looked at some scenarios, man. If they lose to the Dolphins and some things work out the way they work out, they lose that number 1 seed. They need
Cleveland can get it. Did you see that?
Cleveland.
So there are some ways that some teams can get into this thing. So they're not trying to mess around. They need this win, and they've got something to prove because Lamar is like, all right, y'all saying I'm going against one of the top quarterbacks in the game. All right, I'm about to show you. So give me the Ravens to win this one. But for the Bills need to eliminate the penalties because that's what kills us in all our games, and we need to start fast. If you go back to the last Patriots game, they were up 10-0 on us in the first quarter. That cannot happen. We can't start low like that. We did it against the Chargers, and we had to battle all the way back to get that dub. We just cannot allow these guys to hop on us and getting Bailey Zappi to come in and handle business. No disrespect to Bailey, but it's just not happening. It's just not happening. The Bills be able to confidently win this game and know what's at stake. And then we roll into Miami for that Week 18 matchup.
I love it. I got the same results, but a little bit different outcomes. I have the Bills winning this one 27-10. They're barely going to cover the spread, and it's going to feel boring throughout, but I'm all right with that. They're going to go in and just make sure they secure the win. I don't think that New England's got enough on offense to be able to keep up, but I don't know if we're going to see stars flying all over the place offensively for the Bills. I just think Belichick's D is too good. They're going to prevent a drubbing on offense from the Buffalo Bills, but just not enough on New England's offense to be able to keep up. So 27-10 from the Bills, but Ravens-Dolphins. I got the Ravens taking this one 34-17. I think really? The Ravens are by far the superior team. Jalen Waddle's out. Raheem Mostert's out.
Yeah.
And the Baltimore Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens are playing the best football in the NFL right now, and it's at home. And like you said, I think it's a great point, Rico. I still think Lamar's got a chip on his shoulder for the reasons we were just talking about here, where I still think he's in the MVP race, but I don't think he's done that solidified performance to really give it to him yet. And I think he knows that. In fact, last week with the Mike Florio article about him thinking that the Niners were going to kick the shit out of the Ravens, and he read that, and it was the first thing he brought up after the game.
He took that personal.
Lamar knows. And I love Lamar because he's one of the funniest guys at the podium because he's real, but he does it in a classy but funny way. He's aware, and I could just see him going out there dominating today and doing something similar afterwards. So big one for the Ravens today. Bills win as well, and you all know what that means, fellas, ladies and gentlemen. AFC East title on the line.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you. And as you read the super chat, I gotta give a score prediction since you guys are giving it. I don't think it's gonna be as high scoring. I think it's just gonna be a 24, 27-ish. You know what I like about Zbot's score prediction is actually it's nice. Give him a touchdown, maybe a couple field goals, 13 points max, and we handle their business. But
I'm thinking of Easton Stick can score.
Yeah.
I'm with Zappy could probably do it. We'll see. What's there?
Go ahead and hit that up.
All right, so we got 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022 MVPs had the most TDs, but we can't do that for 2023. F out of here. All that Lamar talk say, don't look at all the stats, but in the same breath say Allen is a turnover machine. F out of here. I see what Darren is saying. He's like, listen, it's all about production. Can you get your team wins? And you got to look at it. You got to look at the stats. And the stats are telling you 40 plus touchdowns. And if he goes ham today, he gets you 5 today. He gets you 5 against the Miami Dolphins. That's a 50 burger. You're gonna
come on, man.
Away from the MVP, man.
There's one more, by the way, we didn't get to, and that's Brendan Leasey, and it's a good way to end it up because Brendan says, "Man, beat the F out of him." Conservative play is how you get in a nail biter with Easton Stick. Go Bills. No conservative today. Let's go get it done, fellas. We got Pierre right around the corner with his live game reaction. Rico, you'll be on what time? Right after the game?
Right after the game, about 15, 20 minutes after the game. Get you guys ready to set up, and let's hopefully I'm dancing. I'm gonna pick a song to dance to. Hopefully we're dancing away. Hey, go Z back.
Now tell you this, and for anybody who else wants to join. Tomorrow's a holiday, so tonight's special edition of the Smoke Break after the 4 p.m.s, because we know what happens after the 4 p.m.s. Either we're in or we're out.
Oh, yeah, so hit him with that Z-Bot.
Join Pierre, join Rico, join me, and Rev. You coming out with me later if you're available?
I'm beyond, baby. I'm gonna be on.
Join the whole squad. Let's get it. Hopefully we got a lot of good stuff to talk about.
New Year's, baby.
Happy New Year to everybody. Be safe. Don't do anything crazy tonight. Enjoy the win. Stay home, relax, and let's get after it tonight. You join us. You're safer just joining us on the post game show and all that good stuff.
That's right.
Well, we can't guarantee anything, but hopefully we can guarantee it. We're out. Go Bills. Enjoy the game.
Go Bills, baby.
Later today. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.